Today, I get to say something I've been waiting years to say again. Say hello to my 2020 Subaru STI. For those of you who don't know, back in 2016, I purchased a 2012 Subaru STI, and it was my favorite car I ever owned. But in 2018, I ended up selling that car so I could buy the GTR. And ever since that day, I've regretted it. And for the past couple years, I've been searching for it on every single website you can imagine, and I've never found it. Fast forward a couple years again, and I'm frustrated by how long I've been looking for my old car for so long, and I decide enough is enough. I need a Subaru in my life. So I scour the internet again and I come across this. However, a little bit of a problem. This was the only Subaru STI that I was able to find within like hundreds of kilometers that hadn't been abused, didn't have 10 million miles on it, and most importantly, was painted blue. So I'm not even joking, I booked a flight, flew all the way to this other city where I picked up this, my 2020 Subaru STI. And this is what happened when I picked it up and drove it for the first time. This feels so weird right now to be driving another Subaru STI. I currently have to drive 3 hours and 51 minutes to get back home in my new Subaru STI. And honestly, since my last Subaru, they've actually changed a lot in here. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of buttons in this car that I do not know what they do. For example, there's a bunch of buttons on my ceiling. I have no idea what they do. Long story short, there's a bunch of things I need to learn about this car, but for right now, let's go get some food. Much better now. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about this Subaru STI. It does actually have some mods on it, actually. One of those mods is actually this gear shifter built by Cobb. Cobb makes some really cool stuff for Subarus and a bunch of other cars out there. However, this gear shifter, at least for me, isn't one of them. Luckily though, I do have the stock gear shifter that came with the STI. It's in the trunk. So once we get home, I'm actually gonna swap this gear shifter back to stock. One of the other mods that's on this vehicle though is actually on the fenders. Every Subaru STI has these silver and pink logos on their fenders. However, on this one, they're actually black and green to match the brake calipers. And I actually kinda like it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I've got to assume it's just like a vinyl that's on the plastic fender. I don't know if I want to rip it off or leave it there. Let me know what you guys think. Anyways, once we do get home, one of the other things that I want to do is deal with these things. This car has these really nasty called like rain guards, wind guards, whatever they are. They are gross, super nasty, and they have got to go. Obviously, in the future, we'll check out some exhaust stuff. I don't know if I want to get the same one that I had on my old car or check out some new options. Everybody's also been tuning these engines, and as the engine in these Subaru STIs is now 15 years old, the tunes are really reliable. But the last time I tuned a vehicle, it was my GTR, and it exploded. So I don't know, part of me doesn't really want to tune this car, so we'll see. Anyways though, let's go, let's drive home. I've got 2 hours left of my drive, and we can start doing some mods on the Subaru. Let's go. After a long drive home, we can finally start working on the Subaru STI. Mission number 1 for today is gonna be to get rid of those nasty rain guards that are over the windows. Super gross, they gotta go. Also, ignore all of the garage renovations going on behind me. I'm working on a video right now to update you guys on everything that's been going on. I wanna do one more thing though before I upload that video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. That's gonna be in like a week or so. Hopefully, we'll see. You can actually get an idea of what I mean when I say they're super gross. They actually stick out of the car and just like, they kind of ruin the overall line, so we're gonna pull them off. There's actually 2 clips holding this on. There's one over here and one all the way over here, and then I assume it's just with double side tape running from front to back, and it's essentially, I think at least, gonna be like debadging a car. So I've got a hair dryer. I'm gonna heat up all of that glue in there and just hopefully I can peel it off. I don't know. Got it. Yes. Got it. Fun fact, when I debadged my old Subaru STI, this is exactly what I did. And yes, I see you writing your comment saying, shouldn't you probably be using like a heat gun? Probably. Do I have one? No. Yeah. Okay. I've got this corner off. It probably doesn't show, but it's off. Is this the proper way to do it? Definitely not. But it is working.
No way! That was... Yes!
Clearly my days of playing Car Mechanic Simulator have paid off. Look at me go. That came off so easily and it didn't leave a mark. That's crazy. And now it's time to do the back with the exact same strategies. I'm not even joking. If it was a little bit warmer outside, I could just peel these off without even using the blow dryer. I'm barely doing anything to these. Why am I not a professional? That took me 2 minutes. Let's go. You can barely see where it was. That's so crazy. There's like a couple of little lines, but all of those are just gonna rub off as soon as I wash the car. That's so crazy. Anyways, now we gotta do the other side. Let's go. After 10 minutes of blowing and peeling later, the passenger side was done. Now that the windows look 1,000 times better, we can do one of my favorite upgrades to these cars, and that's get some mud flaps installed. These are Rally Armor mud flaps. The same ones I had on my Subaru back in the day. I don't actually know what I'm doing, but I think I remember enough. All I need is a screwdriver to basically undo these. Fun fact, actually, when I did this on my old Subaru, I actually broke all of these little black clips, so my wheel liner in here was just kind of flapping around. The clips on this car are actually way more sturdy than the one that I had on my one originally. But anyways, we've taken 3 little clips out and then we're basically gonna toss this thing in. These are kind of like these little plastic clamps that go onto those holes that I just undid, and these are what the mud flap screws into. It's basically as simple as that. So the letters actually face behind, so it's gonna sit like that in there. We have to start with this little black kit that's included with everything, so that kind of goes in there like that, lovely. And then this kind of just goes on there like that, I think. Is this the proper order you're supposed to do it in? Probably not, but is it working? Yes, it is. We now have 3 screws along there. The mud flap's installed. It flaps about. However, this actually always bothered me at Subaru meets. You would see people with these mud flaps, and they'd always be all wonky and janky. Well, if you don't screw them up all the way, you can actually make sure your mud flaps are level. Like, I can push it and pull it and all sorts of things. I want it to be level with the ground. That's the most important thing. So I've kind of got to come to the back. I've got to come to the back of the car. Look, that's actually really, really good where it is right now. All right, so let's screw them in. Off to the rear, let's go. The rear is actually way harder to do than the front because most people, what they do is take the wheel off so they can get like a screwdriver in here, and that makes life way, way easier. However, I'm lazy, so I'm not gonna do that. And I'm gonna show you the lazy man's install. Anyways, right off the bat, there's a little clip under here. We gotta get him out without breaking it. That's not a good noise. Okay, it didn't break, it almost broke, but if you ever see one of these on a vehicle you're gonna work on, just know you're gonna have a bad day. Anyways, once you've got that off, you can take this fancy thing and kind of slot it in here, sort of cut. It's much easier said than done. And finally, you take your mud flap, you kind of slot them on these upright things, and you're good to go. You definitely don't want to look like a spoon. See, that's not level. I would be a spoon. I do feel like James May a little bit, but it is important. Thank you very much. That is how you install a mud flap. Not that you're actually going to, but now you know how. I've got to go do the other side, and I'll rejoin with you in a moment. Take a look at how good these mud flaps actually look when I've finished up. Not only do they look really good though, but they also help protect the underside of your car. Obviously, living in Canada, we've got a bunch of gravel roads, a bunch of salt on the roads in the winter, so these mud flaps are super important. And I promise soon we will do that gear shifter in the future. With those 2 little upgrades finished though, that is gonna do it for the Subaru Subaru STI Reveal. I did want to mention some of my plans that I have for the future though. Number one, obviously, I need an exhaust for this thing. No joke, I can barely hear this car. I feel like I've adjusted to the GT350 so much that I've actually been getting close to the red line in this car just because I can't hear the engine revving up that high, and I've almost been missing shifts. So I'm gonna buy an exhaust for safety. Yeah, let's go with that. And then number two, on the same sort of topic as that, I also want to try to investigate another clutch spring, because this clutch spring feels very floppy. You don't really get the feeling of an engagement point with this clutch spring in here, so I want to look at some other options. I don't even know if that's a thing for this car. I did it with my Mustang, so I'll look into that. With all of that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, consider subscribing. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As per always, if you guys have any mod suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below. Like I said, I've been away from the Subaru community for a while. It feels very, very good to be back, but I have a lot of research that I need to do. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon with some more updates on this and the garage. I'll see you guys then. Bye!